Welcome to our debate regarding various topics that can use the Mongol Empire as evidence to back up claims we made about the various topics. Today I'm joined by Anthony Magana, Cesar Mercado, and Shubho Chakma. To begin, many countries have limited the use of the death penalty or banned it entirely. Is this a good thing to do, or do the limitations on the death penalty only contribute to negative actions?
Well, let me start off by thanking you for having us today on today's debate. And to answer your question, I believe that the death penalty has a beneficial effect on society and in the Mongol Empire. What about you, Cesar?
I think it's more non-beneficial and more of a negative thing because the death penalty, it strikes fear in the civilians and as well as the surrounding countries and colonies around in this case, the Mongol Empire. And what about you, Anthony?
Oh, I agree more with Shubho because if you think about it, since more people are gonna be more afraid, the crime rates are gonna lower, making the empire a more civilized and stable one.
Yeah, that's what my line of thinking was. If the death penalty is in place, then all the criminals that would have done those crimes that deserve the death penalty, like betrayal and murder, are discouraged. And the only crimes happening now are the smaller petty crimes, and that doesn't have much impact.
That it was very important to their society because the death penalty was used, or the reasons, like their justification of using different types of torture or killing towards criminals in their empire allowed like the fear that it installed in the people and the reputation that it garnered allowed traders and wanderers and people who are migrating place to place to move through Mongol territory. And with that, they did not need to worry about getting robbed or any sort of theft happening while they were there due to the strict laws that the Mongolian Empire had in place.
Yeah, I think most of us are in agreement that it was a beneficial effect for relatively the same reasons.
All right, so for another topic, how about acquiring mass amounts of territories through military conquest? Is this a good ploy? Anthony, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I'm like half and half. I think it's good and bad at the same time because if you think about it, like having a big like dominant empire is nice and all, but like inside of it, there's a lot of conspiracies and like protests and riots that are gonna like eventually bring the empire down to like zero.
I'm gonna just say that, in my opinion, a bigger empire isn't always better because the more power that a person gets, the more likely they're to succumb to that power. And I'm gonna reference Julius Caesar to where he started gaining power, even though it wasn't as large as the Mongolian Empire. He gained power, and other people saw his power and were, I'd say, envious or jealous of it, or worried that he would misuse it. And that resulted in Julius Caesar's death, which isn't always the best thing if you're trying to rule a country or something like that.
Yeah, I'm with Mongolian. I think it's a half and half type of situation, but I think in most scenarios it's usually a bad thing. But the Mongols handled it pretty well. What happened was the Mongols, when they took over new lands, they didn't make that many drastic changes. They didn't do any big major changes. And because of that, the people just went along their lives as they did before. For example, in China, when they took it over, they still used the Chinese bureaucratic system. They didn't change much of the government. All they had was a tax that they had to pay, and that was it. There was one change that before they didn't have any Muslim leaders or something like that. It was usually Confucian, but now they had Muslim rulers. What about you, Cesar? What do you think about it?
I'm gonna go opposite, and I'm gonna say this is a good plan because it opened an opportunity to expand their empire, and how the Mongols did. And although it may not be 100%, it is still a chance into expanding their empire. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's a interesting view, but we're on to the last topic, and the final topic we'll discuss today is religious freedom. Religious freedom was seen in the Mongolian Empire then and now most modern day countries. It's important. Is it important to include this freedom in countries and empires, or do they function just as well without it? Caesar, what's your input on this topic?
I do think it's a necessity to have religious freedom because it would give the people more trust in the government and as well as the people not protesting or having doubts on the government and overall just making the control over the people better.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to have religious freedom in a country because it gives the people trust in the government that they allow them to live the way they want to, and because of that, there's not going to be as much discontent with the government. There's not going to be as many rebellions and stuff like that.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with Shubho here first, and just say that in the book *The Prince* by Machiavelli, he specifically states that when you rule over different diversities, it's more likely to result in like in revolts and rivalries inside of your controlled areas, because the different religions and diversities conflict with each other, and that causes problems for the people you control and you yourself.
I can see your reasoning behind that, but I think in the case for the Mongol Empire, the religions that they had in place there, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Islam, I don't think there'd be much conflict between those religions. I don't think there would be many problems about that regarding that front. What about you, Morgana? What do you think about it?
I think that's like important to have like what's called like to have like to follow your own religion, because like if so you control your true like feelings and emotions or colors. And yeah, like if the leader or if the ruler lets you do that, then like you trust them, you guys have trust, so the empire will run like more smoothly, more simple, more like stable, more civilized.
Yeah, I can see that. Memo, for when you said that it would cause problems, what about for like pacifist religions like Buddhism? How would that play into it?
Well, the diversity wouldn't. Since it's diverse, you would have your pacifist religions, like I believe you mentioned Islam a while back, or some religions like that, and philosophies. But the diversity isn't just pacifist religions. It does contain other religions. I can't explain a religion, but a religion may think that it is better than others and like want to convert others to their religion, and that could result into fights. So if you get a pacifist religion and a religion that wants to convert other religions nearby into their religion, then that would be what causes conflict among the areas that the ruler controls.
Oh, so you're talking about like extremists for that particular religion, say like Muslim jihadists. I believe that's the term. Like they're just trying to force their religion on others.
Yeah, or like groups like modern day ISIS, and it could cause a lot of trouble in societies.
Okay, I can see your reasoning behind that.
Are there any other thoughts on this topic that anyone wants to input?
No, I think that's fine.
I think
No.
we said what we needed to say.
All right, thank you all for your time and your inputs on these various topics, but we've run out of discussion time. As a final note, the decisions of the Mongol Empire made long ago can still be analyzed and justified by the people of today. Goodbye, and remember that somebody out there loves you.
Sayonara.